Welcome to SNO Soundbytes, a new series where we sit down with the people behind the operations, technology and partnerships shaping SNO. In this episode, I'm joined by Goodman as we discuss the realities behind delivering operations in high-pressure environments, reflections from Milano Cortina, and what the road to LA means for SNO as part of our Connecting Champions campaign. So for people who may not know, can you tell us a little bit about your role within SNO?
My role within SNO is Senior Technical Director, and I'm responsible for delivering our managed services, which is across both networks and IT. So I have quite a large team of people based both here in the UK and in the United States.
Fantastic. What does your day-to-day involvement look like during major event preparation and delivery?
It's changed quite a bit. In previous life, when it was just me, I did everything, but now we have a team of people that are allocated to these projects, such as Paris and Milano Cortina. And my role is more around sort of supervision and control and help with planning rather than getting my hands dirty on the ground. Although in Paris, we did get involved in quite detailed way.
Fantastic. How involved are you operationally during the games themselves?
Right. Going back to previous games like Rio and Tokyo, I was very much involved on the ground. I was doing everything pretty much on my own in terms of building networks, operating networks. With Paris and moving to SNO, we had a team of people on the ground. So I went in and helped out with the establishment of the network and setting everything up. Then we left a team of people on the ground to actually run it during the games. And then I went back out there to help decommission it and bring it all back at the end of the games. So yeah, it varies. For Milano Cortina, I didn't get really involved on the ground. I just got involved in the planning, and we left it to the team on site to actually run it.
Now Milano Cortina has wrapped up, what stands out most from the experience?
I think the key one is the ability to change very, very quickly. We got given a significant number of new requirements, literally a week, 10 days before we were due to deploy into Italy. And we had to change very, very quickly, and we did so. We delivered what was required. But yeah, the ability to change quickly is a key learning from that games.
Fantastic. And what are some of the biggest operational challenges people don't necessarily see behind the scenes?
In many cases, it's reliance on third parties. So if you take Paris, for example, we ordered our internet connection 6-8 months before the games even started, and when we turned up on day one it hadn't been installed, so that held everything up for 2 or 3 days until we could get that connection, and then we could build everything else off of it. So usually it's reliant on third parties, and it's the state in which things are left. So with the Paralympic Games, you always go in after the Olympics have been there, so you've got to partly decommission what they used before you can install your own equipment. And every time it's been different levels of work required.
How important is preparation before the games even begin?
Preparation is really important in terms of dealing with third parties like the organising committee or also the British Olympic Association, who we often share infrastructure with and technology with. So really everything needs to be nailed down well in advance of the games. Certain timelines are set for you. So for example, the organising committee have what they call a rate card, which is what you use to buy services within the village and elsewhere. And that they have a very fixed timeline around when that has to be ordered. So, a lot of it's externally focused, but preparation. You don't want to have too many surprises when you get on the ground.
What lessons did the team take away from Milano?
I think again, the ability to change quickly, to be flexible in terms of the design. We had to make certain changes to accommodate new requirements. So for example, in the hotel that the team stayed in, all of our planning was around just providing internet into the common areas, and then because of security concerns we had to extend that throughout the whole building, and fortunately we had the people on the ground and we had the technology available to allow us to do that quickly.
Has planning for LA already started?
Planning for any Paralympic Games doesn't just cover the games window itself. You've also got the prep camps, you've got the hospitality venue, and then you've got the athletes village, and we have to design solutions for all of those. LA 28, the planning is just starting for that from our perspective. We've got Milano Cortina out of the way. We can now focus on Los Angeles. Things are becoming clearer, so we now know where some of the prep camps are going to be, and we can start working with the local operations teams. For example, I think they're going to one of the universities this time, so we will work with that university IT team to work out what facilities we've got available and what we need to do on top of what they can provide. And then when it comes to the village and the OCOG, we'll be waiting for the rate cards to come through from them to tell us what we can order, what buildings we're going to be in, what the room layout's going to be, and where we need to provide networking for them.
Fantastic. And how do operational expectations evolve from one games to the next?
After every games, there's a wrap up, and there's always a lessons learned exercise that we go through. But a lot of it's really driven by the locality. Each country, each city has a different way of doing things. So if you want to compare the way the Brazilians did stuff with the way the Japanese did it, with the way the Paris did it, they're all trying to achieve the same thing, but they always do it in in completely different ways. So until you start engaging with the local people, you don't really know for sure which way it's going to go.
What lessons from previous games help shape future planning?
As I said, the lessons learned. I mean, a good example would be in Rio, we didn't provide a printer for the marketing team because one hadn't been requested. And in the end, we wound up getting one of the local people to bring their own inkjet printer in, and we used that instead. So for the next games, which was Tokyo, we sat down and said with them, are you going to need a printer? Yes or no? Yes, we will. Okay, we'll take one. So each time you discover there are new things that need to be done. Security has got stronger over the years. It's become a bigger focus. And so things like providing VPNs, providing secure data tunnels, which we didn't really think about in London, but when it comes to Tokyo, Beijing, and places like Sochi, they've become quite important.
What makes strong teams in high-pressure environments?
Trust and respect. You need to be able to trust the people around you to get on and do the job properly, and you've got to respect their capabilities to do that. I guess it's called mission command. You tell people what you want to do, but you leave them to work out how to do it. You cannot get involved in the detail of every single thing. So you have to have trust in your teams to be able to deliver what you're asking.
How important is communication during critical moments?
Extremely important, especially if things are going wrong. You need to know who's where, what they're doing, how they're doing it, and to be able to then translate that into a plan of action and resolve issues as they arise.
What role does trust play operationally?
I guess I just answered that, but you have to have trust in your team to be able to do the job that you've set them. And you have to have the confidence to let them just get on with it.
What does success look like behind the scenes?
For me, in a Paralympics game environment, it's where they don't even know you're there. You've provided the service, you've built the network, you've deployed the Wi-Fi, and they use it without any issues whatsoever. If they start coming and talking to you, then you've failed.
What can businesses learn from environments like this?
I think the key thing, again, is around the ability to respond quickly to changed circumstances in a controlled way. So not a knee-jerk reaction. You need to very quickly assess what's going on, come up with a plan of action, and then execute that plan of action. So you can't be too rigid. You can't be too set in stone. You've got to be adaptable very quickly.
What makes SNO different operationally?
I think it's the quality of the people and their ability to think quickly and effect change very quickly. For example, we had an issue with TV streaming when we were doing the Paris Games. There's an arrangement between the British Paralympic Association and Channel 4, who's the national broadcaster of the Paralympics in the UK, to give us a stream that we could put onto TVs in communal areas. There were issues with that, and so the two guys that we had on the ground, Morgan and Sam, very quickly built a media server that could accept that stream and then distribute it out so that the users didn't know that there was anything going on in the background.
Fantastic. And what do customers value most from SNO?
Our ability to deliver. We've done this now with SNO for 2 games successfully, and we will be doing the same again for LA, and LA will be bigger and better than the previous ones because they always are. But we've done it consistently over a number of years now. I think I've been involved with the Paralympics since 2011, and every games we've delivered exactly what we've said we would do.
Fantastic. How important are long-term partnerships when delivering at this scale?
They're very important because you need trust between all the bodies involved. They need to have confidence in your ability to deliver, and you do that through experience, and you do that over the long term. So SNO is involved with the Paralympics for the long term, and that's reciprocated.
Brilliant. And what makes you proudest about SNO's involvement?
For me, it's been about helping to enable team success. We're a very small part of a very big, machine that delivers the Paralympics Games. Typically there'll be 650 athletes will go, and there are 2, 3, 4 people from SNO involved. So we're a very small part, but we contribute to that. We are part of the team behind the team, and we like to see the success that the team gets.
That's everything. Stephen, thank you for joining us for the first edition of SNO Soundbytes as part of our Connecting Champions Road to LA campaign. These conversations are all about showcasing the people, expertise and operational excellence behind SNO and the environments we help support. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next episode.